Hello and welcome to Sidelines. I'm Drew Patrick. On today's show, we meet a new face here, part of the athletic department. Plus, we talk basketball and track and field. Welcome back here to Sidelines. Joining me now at the desk is the freshman phenom from the track team, Henry Polanco. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks. It's a pleasure. It's a real pleasure.
So let's start with that. It's your first year here. You're freshman. What has been the biggest changes that you have seen from the high school level to the collegiate level?
Preparation, like just the meets in general, everything is just different because I only had 1 year experience in track. In high school, it was only 1 year I did. And it was just like a real big pop out. I wasn't expecting to do this good, but here I am. So I'm just gonna keep working on it, improving. Everything was like, the experience was like the energy. Everything was just like, I don't know, it is real different. But I got used to it real fast, real quick, yeah.
Now, had you done indoor track
No.
before that? So getting that experience and seeing that it's a smaller track, obviously, and just the differences between the outdoor energy and the indoor energy, what have you seen there?
Oh, the indoor is way different from outdoor. I actually like, a lot of people are telling me that indoor, like, you're not gonna like it. You're gonna like outdoor more. I actually enjoy indoor way more because it's not cold, you know, it's inside. I could just chill, you know, do everything at my own pace. But the biggest difference is probably like going from a 400-meter track to a 200-meter track. And it's just like, because you're running more turns and your legs aren't used to running that many turns. So that's probably the biggest difference.
So let's talk about your big events. And the last meet you were at, hey, you rising up that record board, the second fastest 60-meter dash in program history. As a freshman, mind you, what does that mean to you to have that already early?
It means a lot, actually. I came out here just trying to improve, better myself over the 4 years, you know, like as progress. I always told myself, be patient, your time will come. I came out here first year, killing it, you know. So I'm just gonna try to keep working at it, keep doing what I'm doing, just improving. Yeah.
So talk me through that race and through that time. It was at Cornell against a couple of Division I athletes there as well. What was it, and what were the key things that gave you that quick of a time?
So you always have to prep for these meets. You always have to stretch, you know. You have to do everything with like great technique so your body can, you know, be ready. So going into the race, I always just tell myself, relax, chill, just do what you do, just run. Yeah, just run. So get up to the line, you know, a few jumps, get my legs going, get excited, adrenaline's pumping, like dap up my teammates, like, come on, good luck, let's have a good race. Get up to the line, just run.
Do you think it was a benefit that you had some of your teammates?
Yeah, running with my teammates is like definitely gives us more competitiveness, you know, like more of an edge, because he's like, you always want to be like, you know, it's always a competition with your teammates who could do it better. But it's always with, I don't try to think about the competition. I just run my own race, because when it comes to track, you have to just run your own race. So yeah, but competition definitely helps you, definitely pushes you to do better.
So in that same vein there, maybe you have already answered this question with that last answer, but do you like the bigger or the smaller meets better that you can stay focused?
It doesn't really matter, because a meet is a meet. You're still gonna go out there regardless and run. But I want to say I love the big meets. I love having eyes on me. I love knowing that people are looking at me, just so I can just go out there and compete, you know, perform. Performance is always like the best thing. I love just PRing, having that feeling, like finishing the race, looking back at the time, coach comes up to me telling me you PR'd. I love that feeling. It feels great.
That lovely rush as soon as you hear those two little words, PR. So what is going to be the key to maybe move to that top spot on the 60-meter? You are only 0.04 seconds away from that top spot. What's going to be the key to get that by the end of the year?
Just keep working at it. Just hard work, dedication. Like, I can't lose focus. I have to keep my mind on what's right. Just keep improving. So, yeah.
So this weekend is a pretty big meet at the Spire Institute. You're running 2 events there. What do you expect from yourself in those events? Let's start with, since we've been talking about the 60, let's start with the 60.
I'm just gonna go out there and run my race. That's what I never really tell myself, like, just try to break records. I just go out there and I run my race, you know, perform. But I'm gonna try to step it up even more than I already have. It's Spire Institute, you know, like LaMelo Ball played there. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like a really high tier. Schools are gonna be there. A lot of people are gonna show out. So I'm gonna just go out there, perform, you know, do my thing. So,
and maybe it's similar for the 200.
yeah,
but
for
what
the
do you expect
200,
from the 200?
for the 2, well, I've been really dominant in the 60 lately, but I want to get back on the 200 because I'm a strong 200 runner, but I still have a lot of room to improve, like a lot of room to improve. So hopefully another PR for the 200. So, yeah.
Yeah, looking for those conference marks as well in both of those events. You know, one thing that's very interesting this lovely time of year that we have, where you guys are preparing for indoor, we have only the outdoor track here, and there's this white stuff that keeps getting on the ground everywhere. So what are the challenges truly of getting those workouts in when there is snow on the track?
It's just like, we knew coming out here that we were gonna have to practice in the cold. Like you just gotta get over it. It's life. So we got over that phase. It's just the struggle of like when it's snowing on the track, having to shovel it, or like where we're gonna work out, how we're gonna work out. But we work with it, you know. We work at KFC inside. We work in Decker Gym. But when we work outside in the cold, I feel like it's more beneficial. Yeah, for your body wise, you know, endurance, all that. So yeah.
I was gonna say, does the practice strategy change at all when you are outside and it's snowing?
Sometimes, like, it depends on how it is outside, the conditions. So coach will tell us what work, like he could change the workout from one day to another depending on the weather conditions. So yeah.
Do you have out of all the events you run, what is really the one that you circle? Maybe it's a 60 that we talk about. You circle and say, that is my event that I'm going to excel at.
It was always the 100 because I'd never done a 60 before. So I always thought, you know, the 100 was my event. But then I started doing the 60, and I feel like I like the 60 more because it's shorter and I just have those fast legs, so I can just, you know, get out faster than most people. So I want to say the 60 now, but when we go to outdoor, I'm definitely just gonna focus on the 1.
That 1 should be good. Let's go back and to the fact that you are a freshman here, and you mentioned in high school, and it blows my mind that you only did 1 year of track before coming here. Have you surprised even yourself about how you've done this year?
Yeah, definitely. I thought I was just gonna come out here and just perform how I always perform and just progress over the years.
So, and I'll get you out on this. Let's look forward to the rest of this indoor season. What are the things you're focused? What are your goals for the rest of this indoor season?
Just keep performing. Just keep PRing. Just get better. There's always room for improvement.
All right. Well, Henry, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely. Sidelines continues after this. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back into Sidelines. Let's meet a new face here on campus. It's the new assistant softball coach, Quincy Lewis. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, I appreciate being here.
So let's talk about that move. You come here from Canton. What were some of the things here that really attracted you to come back to the PSAC?
Yeah, absolutely. So Coach Gallagher and I actually met up at our convention a couple months ago and just seemed like a great fit and was excited to get back home and work under her.
So what I mentioned there was you played in the PSAC. So how do you think that comfortability and that familiarity with this conference is going to help you coach in this conference?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a fantastic experience graduating from Shippensburg. And I think the PSAC is such a tight-knit group that it's nice to be back and kind of know the conference and know the layout a little bit.
So what does that offer you, though? The fact that you played in this conference and now are coaching in this conference, what do you think, what does that familiarity do for you as a coach?
Absolutely. I think the recruiting layout is huge. And as far as the type of athlete we're recruiting and the type of athlete that Mansfield draws in general, and just knowing, kind of being here especially, and knowing that southern tier of New York where I grew up and being able to pull from that area as well.
So it was quite a quick turnaround for you as we are starting to get very close to the season. You were hired in December area. How has your first couple weeks been here to get really the lay of the land down? What has been the things that have stood out in those first couple weeks?
Yeah, I think the players have been fantastic in getting to know them and, doing a ton of individual sessions where they can kind of get to know me and them. And it's been a lot of questions of them at practice and, hey, how do you do this? How do we do this? And they've been fantastic and receptive to kind of helping me along as I catch up.
So who are some of the athletes that you've seen? I know we're very early on, and I know that we haven't really gotten into the big practices. There's snow outside. I know that's you can't really practice outside, but who has really that you've seen could surprise a lot of people this year?
Yeah, I think we've got some fantastic upper class leadership. I think we've got some great newcomers as well. Freshman Danny Goff, I think, is going to come in and kind of do a great job for us in the circle, along with Lexi Easling, and kind of go from there, which is exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely looking forward to that. So, speaking of what I just said with the snow outside, what are the challenges? You grew up here. You know the challenges of getting in games or getting in practices here in the winter. The weather never cooperates. What are your strategies as a coach to try and work around that when the weather isn't always cooperative?
Absolutely. I'm a big control your controllables person, so it's okay. We can't control that we only have 2 hours in the gym, but we can control how fast we transition from station to station and things like that. And it's really more of a mindset of being as productive as we can be versus complaining about, oh, well, we can't get outside, we can't do this, we can't do that.
So what are the things that you focus on when you're inside in those controllables?
I think breaking down fundamentals is huge, especially coming off of break. We talk about it being slow at the beginning and getting back into things and then picking it up as we get closer to February 21st. And just kind of getting to know each other as well and seeing how our middle infielders work together and how our outfielders communicate and things like that.
Yeah, it's shocking to believe it's a month away from the start of softball season. So you talked about the focusing on the fundamentals and when you can't get outside. So preparing for game situations, what is the key when you're inside in those game situations that you look? Is that fundamentals as well, or what is the main focus getting ready for games if you can't always get on the dime?
Yep. So we work a ton at game speed as far as our infield defense in practice. This week we're starting to throw a little bit more live and get our pitchers versus hitters going and things like that.
That sounds fantastic. Let's go back here a little bit to coming here to Mansfield. And what was it about Mansfield here that really made you say, other than meeting Coach Gallagher, what were some of the things about this program that you knew that I want to be a part of this program, I want to be a part of this area? What were the biggest things that stood out to you?
I think for me, a lot of it was the kids on the team. So growing up in this area in Corning, I've actually coached a few of them when they were younger and played against some of them as a coach and things like that. So just knowing the group of human beings that are here and knowing how hard they work and how excited they are to be college athletes was absolutely a draw in right away. And knowing the little bit comfortability with them already was fantastic.
And so looking at the season, what are your goals for this season? Let's start with the team. What are your team goals for this year?
Absolutely. I'm a big take it game by game person and inning by inning. What can we do in this moment to win this inning and win this game? I think when you start to look big picture, it gets overwhelming sometimes, and to do what we can do and control our controllables throughout the year.
And then with that, again, you just said you don't want to look at the big, but individual goals, your first year of being a coach here, what are your individual goals?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a big thing for me is supporting our athletes. They've had a ton of change in the last couple of months with myself and Greg coming in as our new strength and conditioning coach and being able to kind of support them through a lot of change and get everybody on the same page.
All right, well, Quincy, thank you so much for stopping by.
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
And Sidelines continues after this. Do not go anywhere.
Community, close-knit, it's beautiful. Now, as we join UPMC, it just opens a whole new world.
Together, UPMC and Susquehanna Health are bringing life-changing medicine to North Central Pennsylvania.
UPMC brings extraordinary innovation to virtually every aspect of the work we do.
Exchanging ideas, sharing research, it's a tremendous opportunity to learn in real time with world-class experts.
Changing lives every day. UPMC Susquehanna.
From court to court and lane to lane, under the lights or under the sun, no one delivers Division II sports like NCAA.com. The center of D2 is inside the NCAA.com hub with exclusive highlights of every sport and live broadcasts of every Division II championship found nowhere else. Make NCAA.com yours, the home of Division II college sports.
Hello and welcome back to Sidelines. We're now joined by assistant basketball coach Seth Turner. Thanks for joining me.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So last week was a bit of a bumpy ride. Let's start with that Wednesday match. Travel to Kutztown. What were some of the things that went wrong in that game that we didn't get the victory?
We just didn't make adjustments. I think our offense really struggled. We weren't getting into a rhythm. We weren't running the kind of sets we needed to run. We never got a rhythm. We started to make a comeback here and there, but because we never got a rhythm, they just capitalized on our mistakes and then ended up making the run even bigger, and we just couldn't come back from that one.
And then Saturday, sort of similar, a rough box score there. What were some of the things that went wrong in that one?
Turnovers. Saturday, I think our game plan was great. We came in and then we just didn't have our guys ready to compete, in my opinion. We didn't do a great job with that. We didn't handle the pressure very well at all. They're a very physical team. They press you 24/7. We just weren't ready for it. That's what kind of came out to be. We turned the ball over way too many times. And then again, kind of similar to the Kutztown, they capitalized on every mistake that we made. 26 turnovers, you're never going to win a game with that, unless you hold them to 10 points from those turnovers, which they ended up scoring a lot more than that. So it was just our mistakes again. I mean, we're shooting ourselves in the foot, but again, we can overcome that. We know we can, and we just got to come back ready to compete.
Do you think some of the struggles on the road have been that travel, or what do you guys have to do as coaches to try and find that motivation for the road game where you guys have tended to struggle this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've played well on the road. There's been certain games recently, I guess after Christmas break, we've had a couple bumps in the road. Kutztown, Lock Haven, especially East Stroudsburg on the road. We just got to get our guys ready to compete better than we have. I think there's no magic formula. Obviously, if there was, we would find it and do it. I just think our guys got to come in ready to compete every single day, whether it's at home, on the road, knowing that every game matters. Every game counts when you want to make that playoff run. and we can't keep having these slips when it comes to on the road games, because at the end of the day, we do have to win at home. That is the number one priority, protect your home court, but we got to start winning some of these games on the road if we want to make playoffs.
So another challenge that you guys have really dealt with has been a lot of moving pieces around the lineup. What is the meeting of the mind, so to speak, between you and Coach Hennessy that ultimately decides matchup-wise who you like for that starting lineup?
Well, Coach Knapp actually has a good voice in that too. So luckily we have a volunteer assistant coach that comes and gives us some advice and sees what he likes, just so we can kind of have 3 instead of 2 minds working. But it's been a lot of moving pieces, like you said, but a lot of different things work different games. I think John Ward, has kind of came into his own. He had a couple really good games, really good defensive stretches for us, so we decided to put him in the starting lineup to see what that would look like. We had decent games when we played Bloomsburg, Clarion, and I think there's one other game we made these stretches in the second half with quicker lineups. So we decided to move some pieces around, maybe get some quicker guards in to see what we could do. We haven't found that exact perfect lineup yet. But that's kind of why we keep moving pieces around. But we're just kind of communicating with one another, trying to bump ideas off one another and seeing what the best one can be. And when we find that, I think we'll be a very good team. But the best part is everyone is contributing at some point. They're doing the right thing. So as long as everyone just keeps putting in that work and competing for that spot, we'll be okay.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that specifically with the moving pieces in the starting lineup and going back to that motivation thing. Some players who maybe used to being in the starting lineup come off the bench. What do you do as a coach to keep that morale up on the team to be like, hey, this is situationally what we have to do?
Yeah, I think competition is a big thing, and I think who you are as an athlete, a competitor, also speaks volume. I mean, when you come off from starting, 28 games and then all of a sudden you're not starting, what do you do? Do you fold, or do you come back and do you compete and try to get that starting spot back? I think that shows a lot about who you are. But we have a lot of good guys that want to compete. They want to start. They want to see their teammate start. They want to see their teammate propel and do great things. I mean, Richard Apong is one of the best leaders we have. Day in and day out, he competes. He wasn't getting many minutes at all at the beginning of the season, if he did get minutes. And now, he started the past couple of games. He's getting 20 minutes just because of that. I mean, in practice, he competed day in and day out. He wanted that spot. He earned that spot. He did everything right. And we're starting to see more and more people step up to that challenge here and there.
So maybe Richard's the answer to this question, but who has then in that movement really surprised you guys to be like, hey, he's a guy who needs to play more minutes?
I think everyone deserves to play more minutes at certain spots, depending on how they play in games and how they practice. I think Rich is definitely one that I would say offhand came from playing 0 minutes to playing a good amount of minutes just because he competes. He wants to win. He talks day in and day out. He's a great teammate. He's a great leader. Breaks down our huddle every time from day one. When he first got here, he started to break down our huddle. I think there's other players as well. Mike Rell came in and he wasn't playing many minutes. He's got some minutes against, I want to say, Lockhaven or Kutztown. He competed. He did a very good job in those games. And now he's starting to see more minutes. And John Ward, too. John, the same exact thing, wasn't getting many minutes. And he produced in the minutes that he got. So he's starting to see more and more.
So looking forward to this week, in the friendly confines of Decker Gymnasium, which I'm sure helps. This first matchup, though, on Wednesday is Shepherd. Oh, yeah. Now, this is kind of the enigma of the PSAC because they're brand new to the conference, and there's not a lot of prior experience in scouting this team. So in your scouting of Shepherd, what are some of the tendencies that you notice from them?
Well, in my scouting, it's a lot of late nights. It's a lot of late nights because they're a new team. We don't know anything about them. But I would say Shepherd is different. They're very guard-friendly. They shoot the ball very well. Their point guard, Lang, is a sharp shooter, shoots it from anywhere. But they just have a lot of different moving pieces, a lot of guards that are quick, will take it to the rim. And we've just got to figure out a formula to beat them. We got to figure out, we've been playing zone, as many people are aware. Zoning and shooters aren't a very good mix. So we're going to mix some things up, chop some things up, throw different defenses at them, throw different lineups at them to see if our quicker guards will be able to combat with their quick guards. Our size will be able to combat with their limited size because they don't have very much size. I mean, they have 6'4", 6'5". We have 6'8", 6'8", 6'6", and Trevor is not a normal 6'8", as we all know. He's a big boy. But we've got to figure out a way to compete them. Our guards have to battle day in and day out, and our bigs just have to get rebounds and battle inside the post.
So then offensively, you mentioned the height advantage that you might have down low, but what are your keys against Shepherd to really get those points on the board.
And that's funny. We actually just started to switch up some things offensively because our offense has been struggling. As anyone that follows Mansfield men's basketball would know, our offense is struggling. We're not getting the ball to the rim. We're not facilitating the ball. We're not knocking down shots. So we're trying to do different things, put in a different kind of offense, tweak some things in our normal offense that we already have to try to get different looks. And I think we just have to move the ball. I think we can beat any team if we move the ball, we facilitate, and we get our team involved. I feel like when we start to go one-on-one and don't make sharp cuts and throw it to a person to stand and watch, we become a very easy team to guard, and we take tough contested shots, and we're just not knocking them down. So when we move the ball, we make sharp cuts, we pass as a team, play as a team, I think we are honestly unbeatable if we can play defense, because I don't think anyone can stop our offense because we have so many different weapons. We just have to get them all working together at the same time.
And before we get to Saturday,
of course,
being at home, this team has played differently at home, took 2 top 10 teams down to the wire in a couple games at home. What do you think it is about just the friendly confines of Decker Gym that have been a little bit of a positive point for Mansfield?
Decker's a unique place. No team wants to come play in Decker. We've heard that from every team in the conference. We're in the middle of nowhere. No one wants to come up to Mansfield, But Decker is a special place for us. We know the gym very well. We know the rims very well. But honestly, I don't think it has much to do with Decker as much as how we've been facing that top-notch competition. 2 top 10 teams, we faced them better than we faced anyone else because we really listened to the scouting report, we listened to our game plan, and we went out and we executed. And I think we really were up for the challenge. We just have to do that every game. We have to do that whether we're playing 2 top 10 teams or whether we're playing the worst team in the conference or we're playing a team we don't even know about. I think if we do that and we come to compete the same way every time, again, we can be a very good team. We've came to play against 2 top 10 teams very differently than we come to play other teams, and that's what we can't have.
And then Saturday, before we get into the game, there's a lot of other events going on there with Pink Out and everything else. So what is your key to try and keep everyone focused on the game? When there's all this other outside noise, how do you keep everyone there and focused?
A lot of outside noise. Pink Out's going to be a big game. Let's go ahead and start on that. Owen Lukens has done a great job, SID, and yourself. Pink Out should be a big night for us, supporting breast cancer, Coaches versus Cancer Week. So I think there's a big awareness on Coaches versus Cancer. I think that our guys are going to come ready to compete. They know it's a big game. They know it stands for a lot of stuff for me personally and for everyone nationwide. So I think they're going to be ready to compete, come in, and hopefully get a very good solidifying win for our program.
All right. Well, Seth, thank you so much for stopping by.
No problem. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Sidelines continues after this. Do not go anywhere.
It's all part of Mother Nature's perfect blend, the keystone of the Keystone State. Visit Potter Tioga, a 2-county scenic outdoor haven conveniently located, yet worlds apart. A place where you can kick back, unwind, and forget about the pressures of life. Disconnect and reconnect with your friends, family, or even yourself while surrounded by nature's beauty. So start planning your adventures today at visitpottertioga.com.
That does it for this week's show. To stay up to date on all things Mountaineer Athletics, head over to GoMounties.com. We will see you next week.